Alright guys, so the Android Pie upgrade for the LG V40 from India has finally arrived on 1st of August early morning 2019. So I'm upgrading it. Let's see what do we have you know as compared to what it was earlier. It seems like it's doing OTA upgrade without actually needing a reboot twice, like OnePlus 7 Pro. In OnePlus 7 Pro, it actually does over the air upgrade on the Android UI itself, not needing any reboot. So hopefully V40 also does the same. Let's see what happens. It's still downloading the update, so I'm giving a quick pause and I'll come back once it reaches close to 100%. All right, so it's reaching 100%. It's 97% now. So the biggest improvement which I am expecting from this upgrade is navigation gestures, because I prefer navigation gestures than these on-screen touch buttons, because that they actually take away the screen real estate, and there is always a chance of a burn-in where these buttons are always there. So I prefer no buttons on the screen, and I prefer navigation gestures which we can use, like OnePlus phones or Xiaomi phones, where you have swipe gestures like Apple. 100%. So now it is verifying upgrade. So hopefully it does upgrade on the Android system itself. Let's see what happens. So it took quite some time for LG to finally put this update, and unfortunately on XDA forums or any other custom developer forums, there's hardly any custom ROM which is actually available to install on these ones. Of course, you can root the phones. I haven't really tried rooting these phones for now. So I think, okay, so it has initialized the upgrade. So let's see what happens. I hope it doesn't require reboot twice. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I'm rebooting it. Hopefully it works like OnePlus 7 Pro, what I have, where it does on the air, on the fly upgrade. So I think it did do some kind of rebooting, but I don't think it was for update or something. Maybe it updated the bootloader. Yeah, so as suspected, it has done upgrade on the Android OS itself. And the biggest thing which I like on these V40 phones is its boot speed. I think this is by far the best boot speed I have seen in any other phones, particularly Android phones, and even the latest Apple, 10s. I don't think they can actually meet the boot speed of LG phones. So of course, right now it is booting for the first time after the upgrade. So finally, I hope I'll see no good working fine on LG V40. So I'm expecting LG to release beta OSs like OnePlus on a regular interval and reduce the skin. Although I think the skin is actually faster than a OnePlus phone, which is quite surprising for me. So finally, it looks like the OS is upgraded. Let's see what do we have now. I go to general. I prefer using this high contrast mode, which you can enable. I don't like OLED screens to have bright background, which seems to be a torture to me, torturing the screens. and the batteries, and of course overheating the phone because of that. So how do we enable it? Just go to accessibility, vision, and high contrast screen. Without high contrast, this is how it looks, which is quite terrible to, basically I don't understand why would you need a super bright background on a OLED display, on a self-lit OLED display. It's okay on a LCD screen because it really doesn't consume more power. But in OLED, there's a day and night difference. Like right now, the power consumption is happening on screen, particularly in this area, and the rest of the pixels are shut down. So there's no light coming out, so hardly any power consumption happening. So OLED screens are self-lit screens, so they do require okay, this is quite strange. I don't know why it has got stuck here. So anyway, the OLED screens, they don't really require any backlit or something, so that's why it's better to keep the background as basically the overall average picture level should be darker as much as possible. So I have enabled I'll show how to enable dark mode on Google Chrome, as well as enabling dark theme on Google Chrome, which is also a new addition which has come in the past few days. So I don't know why it is taking so long to apply the theme. Shouldn't take so long. Maybe the phone has got overheated. So this is another problem in V40. This is a major issue, major performance issues. The RAM, to me, surprisingly, it actually works very well. So even for 6 GB of RAM, I actually consume more than 8 GB of RAM whenever I'm using my phones. So on this V40 phone, I only get about 0.5 GB left on the phone, and about almost close to 3 GB of swap space used. So on an 8 GB phone like OnePlus 5, fortunately they don't need any swap space, so they don't use any virtual memory. So I consume almost close to basically the free space left is about 0.9 GB, which is I think the reserve space. On LG, fortunately, it is 0.5 GB. So hopefully, they did not increase the reserve RAM on this Android Pie upgrade. So hopefully, it still is able to utilize almost the entire physical memory. So personally, I don't think more than 0.5 GB should be reserved on any phone. OnePlus 7 Pro actually reserves 1280 MB of RAM, which is essentially 1.2 GB of RAM. I don't know why they reserve so much of RAM. Doesn't make any sense. So for a 8 GB phone, that's quite detrimental because it keeps using the swap file all the time. So of course it uses swap file less than a V40 because V40 has only 6 GB of RAM. So on a 8 GB variant, of course it uses less RAM. So I was actually testing the Android version. Quickly going to about phone, software info. Finally we see software version from, I think it was V10 or something, V10X or something. Now it is V20A and Android version 9. So finally we have Android Pie, which is there on OnePlus phones, which I have since past almost 9 to 10 months, as I remember, since their beta release. And OnePlus's betas are usually quite stable, sometimes actually more stable than their release versions, so which is quite an irony, but yeah, that's the fact what I have noticed. So I don't find any reason to switch to a release version as long as the beta versions are updated, having more features. So unfortunately LG phones don't have those beta versions released, and it's very difficult to find their official versions, official software online. We can find Samsung beta software builds online quite easily, but unfortunately LG I don't know why they are so closed loop. Probably because of that, only developer community is not working very well. And the Android security pack is has been upgraded from December 2000, 1st December 2018 to 1st July 2019. So finally, we have got the latest security patch, as well as essentially almost latest security patch, because today is 1st of August. So we have got the security patch of 1st of July, which is quite fair. And we have got Android Pie. Now I want to get rid of these buttons. So hopefully they have got something about it. So let me explore the menu items. Let me check the shortcut thing. No. You can reduce the size of display. I don't like this big display. So what I do is, like, I go to display settings and not upscaling. Display size is already minimum. I prefer using it at full resolution. I don't really see too much of difference in battery life. So, and I keep watching videos in 2K resolution, and I prefer crisp text. So if I have a 2K display, then of course I should be able to use 2K display. So I prefer the OnePlus way of this screen resolution selection, where they actually put it as auto. So when I'm playing video of less than 2K resolution, then it automatically switches to full 80, 1080p or something like that. So unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be the case in LG. Okay, and of course you don't have higher refresh rate. It's a standard 60 hertz refresh rate phone, which is okay. The motion is quite fluid, except for, of course, you don't have the smoothness of 90 hertz or 120 hertz like Asus phones. But I do have 2K screen, so same screen size with 2K resolution. So I would prefer LG V40 than a 120 hertz Asus phone. But yeah, that's entirely personal preference. There's hardly any difference in resolution when we compare between 2K and full HD, or I would say 3K, because technically it is 3K resolution because of the aspect ratio. Anyway, I was checking gestures, navigation gestures. Please tell me that you have got navigation gestures now. Where do I see? Otherwise, the UI looks exactly the same as version 8.1. I don't see any difference as such. Let me check if there is any other upgrade, which obviously won't be there. You are using the latest software build. Okay, back gestures. Where is gesture? Oh, I think this is something new. Dual app. I didn't notice it before. Maybe it was there. I'll check on the other V40 phone. I'm recording this video using another V40. So back to what I was searching. I'm sorry, I keep getting lost. Gestures. New home touch buttons. Okay. All right, gestures and buttons. Finally, we have gestures. Good. This is what I was waiting. So this was definitely not there in Android 8.1. So how does it work? Okay, so this is the animation. Hopefully hide home touch button. Yes, the home touch button will automatically hide when they are not in use. To see the button, swipe up from the bottom, tap the lock screen, blah blah blah. I don't want to hide. I'm sorry, I show lock hide icon. No, and I prefer there should not be any home. Let me see how does it work. Okay, so when I'm doing it like this, it is bringing these. Okay, so it has finally brought this full screen horizontal task manager. Okay, I don't want home button, home button, home button. Gestures and buttons. I only want gestures button combination. I prefer back here on the right side, like a traditional Samsung phones. Button combination, yeah. So it looks like gesture only is not available yet. So they have put swipe and gesture. What do I get when I do like this? Okay, so I can actually switch between apps. It's not bad. This is something new. I haven't seen this kind of switching. Normally you switch like this between two apps. So here you can actually scroll down the apps, which is good. But I don't want this home button and back button. Okay. What do I do? Let me hide home button. All apps. What happens now? Okay, I don't like this arrangement, but it is better than the full on-screen gesture thing. So probably I'll have to rely on the XDA Forums navigation gesture application, which you can also try. That one actually supports OnePlus, Xiaomi, all sorts of gestures, but you need to actually disable these navigation buttons. So unfortunately, on V40, even after the Nougat upgrade, even after the Android Pie upgrade, you don't really see much difference in the experience. But I will definitely keep exploring. Let me just check what do we have in the dialer. Now, there's one more thing which I expect on LG and Samsung phone to be there, is call recording, which is there on all the OnePlus phones now. Initially on OnePlus 3T, there was no call recording feature, but after they upgraded the OS to Oreo, they had brought in call recording feature, which is quite good. So there's no difference on the dialer. It looks exactly the same. So it seems like the major upgrade is actually only in the Android OS and the security